The universe. A vast expanse of space and matter. It includes all that we see and all that we know.
And Scrat is the most powerful being? Yeah, you heard me right. Scrat is the most powerful being in the universe. And it's not even close. Scrat has feats on almost everything. He's a pinnacle of intelligence, endurance, and strength. Some of the feats you're seeing right now, these are very tiny, minuscule feats compared to other things he has done. Let's start off with the most basic stat. Scrat is weak, unless he is attacking with a nut. And keep in mind that this is not the nut's power, it is Scrat's. Scrat only has a few strength feats, at least compared to his other feats, but they are definitely impressive. He pulled out Excalibur, which only the worthy can do. That feat by itself is impressive, but Scrat cut a meteor in half. He was the cause of an eruption, although he was assisted in the process, so we're not sure how much of the power was his, but judging by previous feats, it could be quite possible that it's just his strength. Possibly the biggest feat of Scrat's strength is Scrat forcing his way to the center of the earth. And if you look really closely, you can see he just barely taps it and gets to the center of the earth. Who knows how much he could do if he was actually trying. Now you may be thinking, this is only Scrat with nut, but what if Scrat doesn't have the nut? And to be fair, Scrat is weak. The only feat he does have is destroying the fusion device, which probably wasn't that sturdy anyway, so that's a valid point. Except for the Scrat nut fusions. In Ice Age Collision Course, Scrat goes into a teleportation machine with the nut and he ends up fusing with the nut. He goes into multiple forms, which are all different in power. I'll be putting the ranking up screen, but these fusions allow Scrat to use his full power without repercussions. If you want a full video ranking these fusions, put it down in the comments below. In short, these forms make Scrat much more of a threat. Scrat's strength may not be as destructive as, say, Goku, but he can definitely dish out serious damage to any opponent he faces. On to the next statistic. Everyone thinks intelligence is Scrat's worst feature, but I believe it's one of his best. Scrat has proven time and time again that he is a genius. He wields Excalibur perfectly despite swords not being invented yet. He wields a time machine that hasn't even been invented in our world. And the most impressive of all, he learns the entirety of the English language only off one sentence, as shown here when he reads a sign on the tree. How could he have known that they were fake nuts if he couldn't read? And of course, English wasn't invented in the Ice Age, so he had to have learned in just one sentence. Most people put his intelligence low because he can't talk, but I disagree because he is a prehistoric creature, and just because he can't communicate with humans does not mean he is not smart. Humans can't understand dogs, but we consider ourselves smart. Scrat has also shown feats of battle intelligence, like when he uses the toilet to launch himself toward the alien for the nut. He has shown other feats, but I feel like I've shown my case as to why Scrat is insanely smart already. Most people think he is jumping off the fish here, but you can clearly see that he's moving midair. Scrat can also stretch like crazy. He has plenty of feats stretching, but my favorite is this one with the tree. Another crazy feat is that Scrat can survive in space without a spacesuit. It shows here that Scrat can survive without breathing, and he can also survive the cold, endless landscape of space. He can also go an extended period of time without eating, and he can control himself in the mirror world. I believe that covers all the miscellaneous feats that Scrat has shown, so I will move on to the last category. This is the biggest category. If you thought Scrat was strong before, then you better buckle up because this category will make you believe Scrat can beat Goku. Easily. Scrat has endured plenty of attacks, stomping, falling, even the Titanic. But those are small feats compared to what I'm about to tell you. Scrat has been shown to tank a fall down to the center of the earth without sustaining damage. He is fire resistant as he caught fire while falling, and while he was down there creating the continents, he also tanked being stretched over the earth's core countless times. That's impressive. But right after he was launched into space and then tanked the fall back down to Earth. But that's not even his best feat. He was also in max gravity, got his skin and muscles ripped off, but then picked his skin back on. Not a lot of people understand this, but he was able to pick himself up with only his bones. No muscles. So he either has muscles inside his bones, or he can move sheerly on willpower. And according to Squirrel Anatomy, he has to have been moving sheerly on willpower. And guess what? That's not even his most impressive feat. Not even close. Scrat tanked a black hole. A black hole. without damage. He got sucked in, but then he just came out unscathed. He survived his molecules getting ripped apart, and he was fine. Scrat can also live with his head dismembered, so I'm not sure how that works. His body parts get ripped off all the time and then reattached fine afterwards, so he also has powerful healing. There's a theory out there that Scrat is immortal because of how many things he I said this was a short category, and I was not lying. Scrat barely has any, notable speed feats, except for this right here you're watching. These are light speed bullets, and he managed to dodge a lot of them before eventually getting hit, so he can react to light speed. And that's all for this category. Now, this last bit is just something funny I thought I'd mention with you all. It doesn't really have to pertain with the video for Scrat's feats, but Scrat actually creates the continents twice. And, I'm not really sure how that works entirely, but he does it. Once was in a continental drift, and the other was in a short. One time, the meteor was actually the reason he broke the continent. He didn't actually create the continents himself. It wasn't his power. It was he was using stuff. So yeah, that's why those weren't in the strength feats. But yeah, he creates the continents twice, which is just kind of weird. But that's gonna be all for this video. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe, and ring that bell for more. Goodbye.